Hey race fans, welcome back to Behind the Helmet. I'm Sean. With me today is Cole Custer of Stewart-Haas Racing. Cole, welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having me on.
So you're getting ready to jump into Daytona like in 12 hours, something like that, as we record this.
Yeah, so I got Daytona coming up pretty soon, so I gotta wish me some luck because I'm gonna need it going into that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say. So, what do you do to prepare? I mean, you're just literally hours away.
Pretty much the biggest thing that I do is try and watch film. Obviously, we don't get too much practice or anything going on right now, so you try and watch the old races. You try and watch a lot of in-car videos, just trying to get an idea of what to expect going into the race and get your mind ready for it. So, overall, that's the best thing I feel like I can do.
Yeah, so not having that, being able to get on the track and practice and stuff. So I've seen videos and stuff. So do you do a lot of sim racing? To kind of get a feel for the track and all?
Yeah, a little bit for sure. It definitely gets kind of like I said, kind of just gets your mindset ready for the race, ready for what you're going to see when you hit that first lap, because you're going 180, 200 miles an hour into that first corner. You want to know what's going to happen.
Yeah.
So, you try and prepare yourself and try and do some sim laps just to get ready for what is going to happen that first lap.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, I know you said we need to wish you luck, but I was actually, I knew this beforehand and I just rewatched it a few minutes before we started the interview. But seeing you, win the race in Kentucky, I mean, what is that like being a rookie? I mean, you're a young guy, up against all these kind of legends and stuff. What is that like?
It's pretty unreal. I mean, pretty unmanageable, honestly. Obviously I was watching races since I was a little kid on TV. So to get to race against some of these guys that I did watch on TV is pretty unreal. So you still kind of pinch yourself at times, I think, but you kind of, at some point though, you gotta treat them like anybody else. I mean, they're just another car out there. So you just get more and more comfortable with it.
Yeah, and then look, I mean, what is it like kind of being thrust into the spotlight? Being a rookie. You've only been racing in this series for less than a year, right? So I mean, that's just got to be huge.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy. I mean, going into that race and even this year, you're just trying to fit into the series. You're trying to kind of gain the respect of the other guys and everything, and to win that race was just unimaginable. So. It definitely took a lot of the nerves off, a lot of the stress going into these races. But overall, I mean, I think it's something you still got to find ways to try and get better every single time you're out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's and I guess the other thing, being one of the younger people, you're kind of like the next generation of NASCAR drivers. It's been a really big year for NASCAR. It's been a big year for the world with the lockdown and everything that's kind of been going on. So. How do you see kind of the future of NASCAR expanding and growing?
Honestly, right now, I think for not having any fans at the track and all this COVID, stuff going on, it's honestly been pretty good. I think we've had good ratings on TV. The races have been exciting. It's just a matter of trying to, keep the excitement going. Obviously, I think once we get into the playoffs, I mean, that's when everything ramps up. That's when the fights start happening. That's when the wrecks start happening. So I think once the playoffs start, it really starts to ramp up.
Yeah, absolutely. What is it like, being on the track, with the obviously it's diminished how many people are there. I've been to the Daytona 500 before. The energy with the crowd and everything really helps fuel things. What is it like now with it? How different is it?
It's definitely really strange. I mean, before and after the race, it's just dead quiet. So that's definitely really strange. But at the same time, once you get in the car, you don't notice it too much. But before and after the race, not having the fans there to kind of hype everything up and bring that energy, it's definitely very strange. But I think it's something we've kind of gotten a little bit used to. But hopefully we can get the fans back, because I think we definitely all need that energy in our lives.
Yeah, definitely. It's just not quite the same without the huge amount of fans. It's such a massive structure too. Not to have to see it empty has got to be really kind of almost creepy.
Yeah, it is. I mean, before the race, you're just standing there and nothing's really going on. You're just ready to get in your car. But usually, we're doing meet and greets, we're, at the intros with all the fans and, waving and, riding the trucks around and everything. So it would be really fun to have him back. I mean, I think that's the biggest part of our sport is having the fans there and having, bringing them the atmosphere. So I think we definitely want him back as soon as we can.
Yeah, absolutely. So when lockdown was going on, what did you get up to? Were you watching any shows? Were you just taking it easy? It's got to had to have been really difficult, not being able to, continue to, be out there like you normally are.
I tried to do some house projects. They didn't go well at all. I'm not cut out for that. Some are still not finished, and it's been like 6 months now. And also, I've binge watched Game of Thrones, finished that series. But I mean, it was just ways to keep yourself busy. I mean, honestly, we got some sim racing in. That was fun to fill the void kind of in that dead time. But overall, it was just trying to keep yourself busy. And thankfully, we're back racing. We can have something to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh man. I've talked to some other drivers and just, I would imagine, you're all sports, I guess, all sports are like that, but, not being able to get out there and do what you do has got to be really tough.
Yeah, I mean, that's, when we don't have racing, I mean, we don't know what to do with ourselves. So that's a little bit dangerous, I guess. So it was nice to get back racing. I mean, you have to applaud NASCAR for everything they did to get us back racing. But overall, I think, it's such a crazy time right now. And to have that back and have our lives get a little bit back to normal, it definitely helps everything out.
Yeah, that's awesome. I'm glad that it's back into it and to see everything going so well. So I kind of want to go back and what is your history like? How did you get in to racing? I mean, you're obviously a very young guy, and how long have you been doing it? And now you're in the big leagues. So how did all that happen?
Yeah, so I mean, I started racing when I was 5 years old in quarter midgets, and then my dad's always been in it, so he kind of got me into it. And kind of worked my way up from there, just, won some races and, kind of just worked up to the series through midgets and late models and the trucks and the K&N cars and just everything, just kind of moved my way up the ladder. And now, I mean, it's pretty unreal to be in the Cup Series now because, like I said, I mean, I was watching Cup races when I was 5 years old on TV, and I never thought I'd be able to do it.
That has got to be so crazy, to be basically start your career almost what you love doing at 5 years old, and here you are in your 20s, and that's the amount of drive and everything it must take is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, I think you start getting more serious about it, probably in your teens or so. That's when it kind of becomes more real, I guess, that you can do something with it. And, you just try and every single time you're out there, you try and figure out what your mistakes were and, how you can get yourself better. And you try and make sure that you show up to the race prepared and ready to race that first lap. Yeah,
absolutely. And now you just were able to basically test drive the next gen car. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. So what was that like? I mean, being able to jump into the next iteration of these cars. What is that like?
It was interesting. I mean, going into it, obviously I was a little bit skeptical just because it's a lot different. There's a lot of things that are different about it, and I didn't know what it was going to do.
Yeah.
But once I started driving it, I mean, it was, the same kind of Dover. I mean, same kind of, same kind of feel in the cars of what we're used to. It's just all a little bit different. The steering's a little bit different. The transmission's a little bit different. It's just a lot of little differences that add up to a lot. But at the end of the day, you're still driving a race car around a circle. So it's you're still doing the same kind of techniques and stuff like that. So it's just trying to get the little bit of differences in feel.
So going into Daytona this weekend, what are your predictions? How are you feeling about it? What is your kind of strategy going in?
I think the biggest thing about super speedway races is you got to take it kind of situational. You can do the thing where you're just aggressive the whole race or you ride in the back, but sometimes I feel like it's best to just kind of read your surroundings, see what's around you, see if guys are being crazy, if you're in a good position or if you're not in a good position, and you kind of react from there. You got to take every single situation differently, I think, and you just got to react to it throughout the race, and that's what makes it hard. You have to react, and be on your toes that whole race.
Yeah. So, being in the cockpit of one of these cars, right? I think it's probably easy for people to kind of forget and just think, oh, you're in there and you're driving and everything. But, can you kind of tell us, like, what is it really like? And like, people are obviously giving you feedback and you're, aware of your surroundings. Can you kind of paint a picture for us?
Well, it feels like you're in a sauna for pretty much like 3 or 4 hours. So it gets up to like 140, 150 degrees in the cars. So it's brutal after, a long race. I mean, it gets pretty hot in there. So trying to hydrate as much is really important. Also, how loud it is. You have the spotter in your ear yelling at you, and it's intense, So you got to make sure that you're prepared, and it comes with experience. Also, you get more and more used to it, and you're able to calm down, and things start to slow down. But it's definitely there's a lot going on in there when it's going 200 miles an hour.
Oh my God, yeah, just the feeling of it. And, I think, I used to live in Los Angeles, and driving on the freeway is pretty intense, but nothing compared to something like this. So I just can't even hardly imagine like the intensity and the concentration it's got to take.
I'm sure, if you're slicing and dicing through traffic in LA, I'm sure it's not too far off, I guess. But it's definitely intense. We have a lot going on, and, there's a lot to study going into the races. So it's just constantly trying to make sure you're prepared for it.
Yeah, well, man, I wish you the most luck. I want to say thank you so much for joining us. It's been really great talking to you. And, I guess we'll see you on the track.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks a lot, Cole.